Stable Diffusion has really big plans. Hello my friends, how are you doing? So Stability.ai, the company behind Stable Diffusion, got a funding of $101 million, which is pretty amazing, and they are valued right now at about $1 billion. Robert Scoble, a tech journalist, was at their launch event and he filmed the whole event. So the screenshots I'm showing you are from his video. Go to his channel, check it out, leave a like. So you can see here again the 101 million seat funding, 103 employees, 100,000 members. Now the 100,000 members are not the number of users, because when we look at the TechCrunch article again, it says DreamStudio has 1.5 million users who have created 170 million images, and they have 10 million daily users across all channels, which is pretty amazing. And the open source version of Stable Diffusion has been downloaded more than 200,000 times, which to me seems a little bit low as a number, but is still an amazing number. Another incredible thing we can see here in the slides is that Stability.ai is one of the biggest owners of the A100 GPU from NVIDIA to train these AI models. They have 4,000 of them. Now in another slide, they talk about the Stable Diffusion growth. Again, here we see the numbers of 1.5 million users, but also over 1,000 projects. This is probably especially for the open source model of Stable Diffusion, where you have Automatic 1111 and you have the forum and you have the Photoshop plugin, the Blender plugin, all these amazing things that are created right now. But what they also show, and this is the mind-blowing part, is the DreamStudio Pro. Here you can see two screenshots that show you already that there is some advanced linking going on where you can do advanced functions without coding, which is pretty cool. And up here in the corner it says animation and video, because those are pretty big goals for them. Here you can also see that they define themselves as a foundation for platforms for image, audio, video, 3D assets. That's pretty cool. To be a generative application layer that then can be put into the workflow also through the API, so it can be integrated in different software applications too. This is the beginning of the DreamStudio presentation, and here we see another very interesting part. Down here you can see an audio wave and you can see multiple scenes going on. And this is important because this is for the director mode. So in the next screenshot, you can see up here it says storyboard, timelines, tools. Then down here you can create nodes like math node, easing node, display node, camera rotation node, camera trajectory node, and other nodes like that. So you can, rather than just putting in a text prompt or a video, you have the ability to create a network of nodes that can guide and control the output of the AI. In the next screenshot, we see an audio signal node going to a prompt wait. So you can control the animation that is created with the audio signal. For example, on every beat, you maybe want to zoom into the image or rotate the image or do something else, or maybe change the prompt on every beat. Next, we are seeing the storyboard, which is also really important. You can see here, we have the resolution. You can see here the label, the prompt weight in here, and the duration in frames, which is pretty cool. And in the next screenshot, you can see multiple of these scenes, one below another. So you can build up a scene. You can maybe create a movie, an animation. You can see here that there we have a guy standing between two trees in the winter. And then below that, we have a guy standing between these trees in what looks like the spring. So you can build up a story, you can sync it to music, you can animate the movement, so you can really make a short film with that, a video clip, things like that. Now here we are back in that view from before, and now down here we see these scenes that you can simply drag around, move around, and when you look a little bit closer here, you can see that these are multiple layers of prompts that have different prompts in here. For example, this one says watercolor painting, this one says underwater. The one above here, the shorter ones, they seem to be lyrics that are synced to the music. Next we have this screenshot, which looks like you have a form of animation that you can do inside of the prompt picture. So over here we see the view of a city, and then here we see an X, Y, Z axis where you probably can move that around, so you can guide that, maybe do easing, tweening, rotation, all these kind of things to create a really interesting animation. Also sync that to the music again to create a really artistic output without coding and without having it too technical. So this is a graphic interface that is easy to use. Next, we're seeing some integrations here. For example, Stable Diffusion together with Blender 3D. So this can be directly integrated into the software. And in the presentation, they also talk about rendering and masking. So that's going to be really interesting if there's going to be some AI masking too. Next, we are seeing Stable Diffusion and Touch Designer. This one is really interesting because Touch Designer is a node-based visual programming language for interactive multimedia content. So that might mean you can do something live with Stable Diffusion, so it might change based on the input for what you're doing. I'm not quite sure how this is being used. It might also just mean that you can create the content, the textures, the 3D models live in the software, so you can integrate them and then create something that is interactive with that. But content that is changing live, or maybe in a short time on location, depending on what is happening, that would also be really, really interesting. They are also showing Stable Diffusion in combination with VR software, another really amazing application. And this can be really interesting, especially when you take into account the surroundings for image-to-image render, so that you can, for example, map an image to the surrounding, the space that you are in. And so the main message is to integrate DreamStudio Pro into any production pipeline for video and audio diffusion, which both of them are coming soon. Now, the interesting thing here is that Activision, which doesn't have anything to do with Stable Diffusion, but they have filed for a patent of AI-generated music that is based on the experience and skill level of the player, so that each player hears different music and the music is generated specifically for the player, which on its own is a really interesting concept. But in combination with what we have seen here with video, audio, interactive multimedia, VR, this can hint into a direction like that, where the content is based on the user who is interacting with these artistic creations, and that is absolutely mind-blowing. Let me know what you think in a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you on my live stream on Sunday. Bye! Oh, you're still here. So this is the end screen. There's other stuff you can watch like this or that. It's really cool. And yeah, I hope I see you soon. Leave a like if you haven't yet. And well, yeah, I wish you a good weekend.